What's up, everyone? I want to talk about Jay Cutler because I came across another recent photo of this guy where he's shirtless. I'll post it on the screen here for you guys to see, but I've also talked about this in other videos. I just haven't done one solely on the subject of how he's still blasting gear and has been taking steroids for probably 30-40 years at this point. And it does come down to the individual. So obviously checking your blood work, getting EKGs of your heart, these sorts of things are going to prolong your longevity when using anabolics, when bodybuilding. And for someone like Jay Cutler, I think he is gifted with great health. I think if he was having issues, he would not be still taking the amount of stuff that he's taking. So there is that part of it. It is his passion. Obviously, he enjoys and loves bodybuilding. He is probably the most active former Mr. Olympia in the industry in terms of social media, YouTube videos, Instagram. He collaborates with a lot of new influencers, basically Instagram influencers, YouTubers. So he is active in that way. So I think being in shape will still benefit him greatly. And if he's in good health, it's like, why not? So there's that part of it. I also think when you're taking stuff for as long as some of these guys are, it's better to slowly ease off it. So instead of doing like what Dorian Yates said at first, he came off everything and he felt like shit for like a couple years. Went on to TRT, 200 milligrams a test. Doctor tried adding HCG, said he felt like shit. Just uses the testosterone, okay? And, he's not maintaining nearly the amount of size that some of these guys are. And with Jay Cutler, it's been 40, 30 years that he's taken stuff. And what he's using now is not a small amount. He's not taking just 500 mgs a test. I don't care if this guy won the Olympia 20 fucking times. To have that size that he's having, he's on 1.5 grams of gear. He is not maintaining that amount of mass for as long as he has on 500 tests. Now, this could have been something he did at the start, but had he stayed just on 500 milligrams of testosterone, he would still look enhanced, but he would not, remotely be even close to the size that he is now. For Mr. Olympia, we can look at guys like Kevin Levrone or other guys that as soon as they're done the show, they fucking have came off everything and within 6 months look natural. So with Jay Cutler, he should look natural within a couple years running even 400 or 500 mgs a test. Sorry, not natural, but he should look significantly different. He does not look significantly different. I find his physique looks kind of strange, actually, because it's like, you can tell he's got good genetics. You can tell he's got a very thick look and build to him. But I do find like as he's getting lighter in weight, it doesn't look as good. I find he looks kind of strange, but he is still packing a lot of mass. He is still packing a lot of size. He's not going to look the same. It's when he was running all the shit that he was taking. So as he gets older, I think for sure we're going to see this guy downsize. It does come down, like I said, to the individual, to their genetics, how well they respond to the drugs. So when it comes to like smoking, when it comes to doing all this other shit that can have a risk to it, whether it's sports, there are a ton of different things that we can do in life that has an additional risk to it. And this is with anything. So when you're bodybuilding, if you enjoy it, if you love it, if it's your hobby and you're utilizing performance enhancing drugs, there's a risk. But you can do it smart and you can do it in a way where the risk is very minimum. Taking preventative medications like blood pressure, ARB meds, cholesterol, statins, if your cholesterol is high. So these are the things that will help. But my doctors told me, it's like with smoking, people can do that for 30 years. They can do it their entire life and they don't die because of smoking. They don't get cancer. But then there's people like my nan or other people who they may have smoked and quit for 30 years. They may never have smoked and they still develop lung cancer. So I think if you love bodybuilding, if you enjoy the sport, and like I said a minute ago, you know, you got to decide whether it's worth the risk. If you're someone with genetics in your family where, you know, there's a lot of predisposition to things, whether it's cardiovascular, that would be the main thing that I would say stay away from. So what I'm saying here is I would be staying away from this sort of sport, taking gear. If you're very sensitive to stuff, if you're someone that's not in good health or you've had problems in the past, I'm not talking about people that are sick all the time or, you know, you can't work or anything like that, but I'm saying if you're fucking, you know, you take drugs, you have lots of side effects, even if it's like a Tylenol, like if you're very sensitive to shit, that is something to consider, okay? And a lot of these guys at the top level, they're not really in tune to their health. Now, that's a whole other extreme. That's a whole other topic. Jay Cutler was one of them, but there are people that even with their health going downhill, they get blood work, even if it's fucked. There are people that they want to win the show, they don't give a shit. They'll keep it going. So that is a risk to consider, that everybody's going to consider. And to say really that, you know, anybody using gear is going to die on is not true. I think a lot of the deaths that happened over the last 2 years, the only difference that we've seen over the last 2 to 3 years, you guys know the one difference that has came into our lives. You know, I'm not going to get into detail because I don't want to fucking say something and get the video taken down. My old channel, I got a fucking strike for this shit, but it's like, you know, that is like the one thing that you know has been different, and it's been less now that the fucking vaccines and shit aren't as, you know, people aren't as they're not getting them as often, right? They've got fully vaccinated, as some people have, some haven't. They got the 1 or 2 shots. You know, it's not, people aren't getting fucking 3, 4, 5, 6 boosters like they were when we fucking had to get the first 2 shots, is what I'm saying. To fly anywhere, to do that shit, you had to get 2 shots. And now that fucking shit is done, we're not seeing all these bodybuilders passing away to the same extent. Not to say we're not going to see more, but it's like, I just think you can't sit back and say something is going to kill you and that it's bad based on a few people. Yes, I know it's been like 30 bodybuilders, but how many people are taking steroids on this planet? How many people are using gear, have used gear in the past for decades and are still alive and healthy? So be aware, obviously. That's not to say shit can't go wrong, but if you know where your shit's at, you have a baseline for where everything is, you should not have anything come up that is a health scare that you weren't aware of. It doesn't make sense why you would. Again, anything can happen, but I'm so sick of it, and it's died down since these guys have stopped passing away, but I'm sick of seeing this shit where it's like people are making these drugs sound like it's cocaine or heroin when, man, you could do the fucking amount of fucking of steroids that you can take to abuse and still live is absurd. To the amount of what a bodybuilder takes compared to a TRT dose is like 10, 20, 30 times the fucking medical dose. You can't do that with cocaine. You can't do that with heroin. You can't just go and take 30 times, you know, a dose and not worry about overdosing. So these drugs are extremely safe. And this is proof. And I've done videos on other guys, Branch Warren, Seth Feroci. There are tons of guys still going. Cali Muscle jumped back on. So, you know, it's like, to just say that they're bad, they're going to kill you is wrong. It's false. It's not accurate. All right, that's the video. I appreciate you guys watching. Let me know what you think down below. Your opinion, comment, disagree, agree. I said something wrong. Appreciate all the support. Love you guys. See you in the next video.